Sunday, 9 p.m. our time, 3 p.m. Walt's time. It's the European Ham Radio Show as usual, and we have some news for you later on in the show, just to tell you where we're going with this concept. But I think we'll start off as usual with our Ham Radio weeks, and I think Walt and Shetta wasn't here last week, so I think Shetta can start. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, nice to be back. And I had some very nice weeks out with the radio. I've been quiet on the SOTA front lately. So I've been on 5 activations the last 2 weeks. And 4 of those have been new activations or first activations. So that's been very nice. Some of them like so deceptively simple, like was 700 meters to the summit, as the crow flies. But it was a hellish hike. So still there's been some fun there. Other than that, not very much exciting. I had a very fun day with the local emergency communications group on Monday. We went out in a Parks on the Air area, and we did POTA and just tried like local communication on HF. Like how does HF work with a radio that's 20 meters away from you? And what happens if somebody doesn't turn down from 100 watts? So.
That's exciting. I just noticed that we're doing as usual. We're dropping someone at some point during the stream.
Yep.
I guess Bob has left the building, but hopefully he'll be back. And welcome to all the viewers. It's always great to have you along. But while we wait for Bob, how about you, Walt? How has your last 2 weeks been ham radio wise?
You know what? I kind of turned radio off and turned things off there for a little bit. Took a little bit of break. My wife's got some health issues and been kind of dealing with that. So just trying to make life good for her. You know what I mean? And we got off and went down to the Outer Banks in North Carolina last weekend. And believe it or not, I played no radio down there, but it was just as well. We had the one of the hurricanes that went past. So the surf was rough and it was kind of, the weather was beautiful, but down by the shore was really rough and nasty. And I just said, you know what, gonna be me and my girl. We're gonna enjoy our life, and we did that. And yesterday, I finally got back out. I hadn't been out in a couple of weeks, and had a Chameleon Antennas sent me their tactical Delta loop. I got out and played around with that yesterday, and wow, it was fun. Had a good time with that, and I get back into it a little bit this week and start playing a little bit more radio. One thing I did notice here, I don't know if you guys are experiencing it yet in Europe, but 10 and 12 meters yesterday, wide open, man. It was awesome. It really was. Matter of fact, 10 was too open, and you couldn't get it. People were just like on top of each other on the 10-meter band yesterday, sideband. It was crazy, but yeah, that's what it's like here now.
Yeah, I haven't been on 10, but I've noticed that 2 meters has been wide open here. I've got TEHRS messages received on one single hop from Poland.
Ooh.
Actually, and anywhere from middle Sweden in the north to Poland in the south, and lots of German and Danish stations just popping in on APRS. So that has been fantastic. Kind of makes me a little bit sad that I sold my 2-meter transverter and gave away my 2-meter 3-element beam. So, Bob, before you leave us again, how has your ham radio week been? Did you make any notes?
I shall try and remember. I'll just explain my sudden departure. I was logged into my computer at work with remote desktop, and apparently that was waiting for the show to start. That was interesting. That was not apparent to me. I was closing windows like a madman, trying to figure out where that delayed sound was coming from. It's really disconcerting. But I'll do my best not to have that happen again. I have talking about 2 meters. I have done FT8 on 2 meters for the first time on a vertical on X50 on just on top of my house. That was fun. I reached all the way into what's that island in between Sweden and Finland?
Gotland.
Yes,
Gotland?
that one. Yeah, pretty happy with that actually on 2 meters.
That's a pretty good distance, and especially with wrong polarization as well, because you lose about, what is it, 20 dB doing that?
Yeah, it really depends, but you lose quite a bit as you're meant to. But I don't think it's hardly ever as bad or that bad that you actually end up losing 20 dBs. There's always some reflections of something bending a little bit of it, so it probably wasn't that bad. But still, yeah, that was fun. I'm going to do that some more.
Let's say you lose 10 dB though. It's still pretty significant.
Absolutely. I'm gonna build. I ordered many months ago. I ordered some aluminium rods, so I'm gonna create a halo, which is basically a horizontal and horizontally polarized antenna that is not directional, that I can put up on the same pole. That should get me those extra 10 dBs back, hopefully. But let's see. There's the usual 10-meter net, the usual 2-meter single sideband net, and I was up on a mountain today. I was meant to go up on one of the big cool mountains in this fantastic weather we're having. So I got up at 7 in the morning, drove. I was supposed to drive 3.5 hours. After 2.5 hours, I thought, shit, I forgot to bring my clothing. So I had to turn back, drive 2.5 hours back. And I was not in the best of moods coming back, sadly. And I just ended up going to one of Ketil's mountains, actually quite close to his cabin, it turns out. Nice trip anyway. This is Lima Alpha Tango Mike 244. It's a steep climb, that, Kjetil, isn't it?
It is steep. I went there in 0.5 meter of snow, so that was interesting. But one question just to clarify. When you said forgot your clothing,
my mountaineering clothing, not my. I was sitting in the car with sandals and shorts, and that is not for going up to the mountains that I had in mind.
but I've been together with you doing PODA in what is not sandal friendly terrain, and you've still managed to do it, Bob.
Yeah, but the two mountains I was aiming for was both above 1,600 meters, so that is not compatible with sandals and no socks, sadly.
Yeah.
I think that sums up my. And I've gotten a package in the post, but I think I will do the boxing video, so I will not tell you what's in it, but it's something really cool. Yeah,
awesome.
Exciting.
That's my week.
That's a good week, though. Tobias?
Yeah, I managed to catch up on my video making. So that was the video I already had produced on... Sorry, I'm confused here. Studio mode in OBS Studio is still confusing me. Here we are. Now I have the right button.
And while you do that, I'm going to try to make you large.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so I already had that video out last week, and today this week I managed to finish the noise recording using my Rigol and having a look how the linear power supply is doing, how the switching one is doing. And then I think Bob suggested to use the Tiny SA, so ad hoc I decided, okay, let's do another video where I hooked up the Tiny SA. It's a bit out of spec because it can only measure accurately starting with 100 kilohertz, but you still see the harmonics here or the switching spikes. So that was also an interesting experiment. And today I had a go on my Insta360 microphone adapter. I had a small video out already about that, and now I need to 3D print a plastic case for it. So in order to do that, I basically designed the small, model of the PCB, and now I can, put the plastic case around it. And last but not least, I dug out my very old Nano VNA version H, hardware version 3.4. and compiled a new software and just flashed it in. So now it's calibration time. So that is also updated. So a lot of small things, not so much radio because I had my power supplies on the desk, so I were not connected to the radio. Hey, hang on a second. Let me show the Nano VNA in big once more.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that, Tobias. Let me. Yeah, we're back.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I just thought I'll show a few pictures to make it less boring.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see. My ham radio week has been busy actually. Started on Monday. Took the TS 440 out for a PODA. Turns out the radio works well for a PODA. So I took it out another time on Monday for another PODA. I took it out on Tuesday for a PODA, on Thursday for a PODA, and on Friday for a PODA. Only made 2 videos though, because I don't want to make too much of the same videos. But shortly, I have the first video of a twofer in Norway is coming up next week. I've been doing a lot of twofer PODAs with it. Since there's a new PODA park that pretty much runs through all the other local parks here. So trying to figure out how to log twofers. Besides that, I've made a Go kit for my TS440. Released a video on that. Let's see. We tried to fix the rotor at the club station. We kind of did that by getting a new rotor after 6 hours of trying to fix the old one. So there'll be another 6 hours of work getting the antenna down, replacing that rotor with a new one, drilling holes for the new rotor because I'm pretty sure that the old holes won't fit the new rotor. So that's going to be a little bit of work. And let's see what else. I went to a ham radio banquet yesterday. The club in Oslo is 100 years old this year, so had a big banquet. A lot of fun. Drank too much. Not really too focused today, to put it mildly. But yeah, and besides that, I've tried out a new receive antenna. It's called an end-fed half-wave on ground. It's not a beverage on ground, but it's an end-fed half-wave on ground, or it's almost an end-fed half-wave on ground because the antenna wire snapped in 2 and had to get ropes up in trees, trim the antenna. Didn't get it as high as it was. I have some trouble tuning it. It works fine on 40 and 20. Okay-ish on 15, or at least it's somewhere where I can tune it on 15, and then it's nowhere near on 10. But that's not too big of a deal because I got a 3-element. Let's see, on 10. I got a 2-element HB9CV for 10 meters, so I never used the end-fed halfway for 10 anyway. So I guess that's my ham radio week in short terms.
Cool.
And Bob, you've been working on a little bit this week.
I work a little bit every week, but don't tell my employer.
Yeah, I was thinking about you've done some work for TEHRS this last week.
Yeah, we have a website.
We got a website. It's let's see if I do this the easiest way to get it up. I'll just make a banner, but this is the website for TEHRS. It's hamshow.eu. So do click into that, but not right now. You can wait until the show is ended, or open it in a new tab. So let's see if I can put the address up. Except I now put Bob out of the picture. But yeah. So that's our website. Just a little bit to get the branding a little bit better on that. Thank you, Bob, for the work you've put down on making this.
Oh, you're very much welcome. That was fun. This was the kind of things that I used to do in my job 25 years ago, maybe. I don't know. A really long time ago, I used to do this for a living, and it was fun. And let's hope it turns into something good. I think I'm missing some place where we can put all the links to all the cool stuff we talk about during the show. And it's my intention to put up show notes and a list of links for the stuff that we talk about.
Yeah, that is awesome, and it'll make it easier to discover as well.
Yep.
Very nice.
Anybody? How many? stations did you guys work the contest yesterday? Anybody work the Work All Europe contest there? I think it was a blessing for me. I could sit on the beach and pop DX calls all day long. It was kind of nice.
No, I didn't do any. I didn't really do any radio work. If you don't count after a couple of glasses of wine, a couple of beers, showing off the Abri 104 centimeter tactical antenna in a banquet hall. That's the closest thing I got to play radio yesterday.
Yeah, well, as I said, all my power supplies were on the desk, so nothing connected to the radio, so that was a problem.
We have, I think, Steve. I forgot his call sign. Is it M0 or something? He's on the Discord. He's over at your part of the world, Walt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He went on a Parks on the Air activation in the US and worked only European stations. I think that's pretty amazing.
Let's see if I can find. He had a picture up in one of the channels on the Discord. Probably a portable radio channel, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. M1 SDH. Let's see if we can put Discord up on screen here. I haven't really. Let's see here. I haven't really prepared myself that much today.
While you're doing, he's in Virginia, but he's in the northern part of our state, and I'm all the way in the southern part of the state. So we're a good little ways away from each other, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's his POTA from Virginia.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, he worked the same stations as usual.
But did he not call CQ POTA or spot himself or anything like that?
I don't know. Let's see. This is where it was actually. It looks really pretty.
Yeah.
It's up to Norwegian standards, I would say.
Well, decently.
Well, not all of Norway is beautiful though.
Yeah.
Not all of the United States is beautiful either, so I can.
No.
We're
There's
not supposed to say that out loud.
I'll say it out loud. I'm American. I can take the heat, guys. Like.
And Colin's here. Welcome, Colin. Saw your battery video. I wish we could get those kind of batteries at a decent price here.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. So that's really awesome. Doing all the European stations from a POTA in the US.
Wonder, did he say what band he was on? I tell you what, yesterday morning, so about 10 a.m. here. So what is that, about 1400 UTC? I was on the 15-meter band, and it was the same thing, man. It was just like pure Europe. Everything it was like bam, bam, bam. I mean, I talked to Poland. I had a 5.8 contact to Poland. It was crazy. I was really, I was using that Delta loop, and I had it broadside. I kind of looked and had it aimed right over at Europe, and I mean, it was like picking apples off a tree, man. They were just everybody. It was cool.
Yeah, it's fun when conditions are that way. I've really had. Yeah, go ahead, Chetan.
Yeah, I had one fun QSO or like special QSO, and that was Juliet Whiskey on 20 meters. So reaching within Norway on 20 meters from Minnesota is quite fun. So I worked him, and I worked.
You gotta define where Juliet Whiskey is, though. It's
Juliet Whiskey is Svalbard. Yeah,
and it's not continental Norway though. It's an archipelago way north of Norway.
Yeah, I worked with him, and I think it was Echo Alpha 1 Delta Sierra Bravo, summit to summit from northern Spain, and those two are the same distance apart, or away from me. They're about 2,100 kilometers. So that was quite fun.
But the amount of radio amateurs on that island is a wee bit less than the amount of radio amateurs in Spain.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But he was running from the club station. But he said he had a lot of issues with auroras because this is like far, far north. It's is it 75 or 80 degrees north or something like that?
Yeah, I think it is. Let's see if I can.
What island? What's
Svalbard.
Oh, Svalbard. Okay.
Juliet Whiskey.
Is it Rolo Island?
No, it's Spitsbergen.
Yeah.
Let me
But I've had a contact in Northern Ireland in the Arctic Circle of Norway. I think it's called Rollo Island. Is that correct? I can't remember.
doesn't
It all could be,
could be.
but it's not that one.
It might be that guy that is always on 20 meters. The only
Yeah.
Norwegian I can pick on 20 meters. Everyone seems to have had a QSO with him. I can't remember his call sign.
I'm going to tell you. I got my logbook here.
It's 78 degrees north.
Yep. I just put the map up here though, because this is continental Norway, and this is Svalbard.
Mm.
So
I have to say that it's nowhere near as big as it looks on that map. It's fairly tiny, but this is of course representing 3 dimensions in 2 dimensions, and it looks big.
Yeah, but it's there are heaps of SOTA summits that nobody has activated up there. Same with POTA areas. But it's a place where you're required to wear a gun. You cannot walk outside, at least outside of the city centers. You have to at least have somebody on guard. So it's not the place you go on.
The punishment for not bringing a gun when you go outside of a city or the
Getting
city
shot,
on Svalbard, no, it's being eaten by a polar bear.
Yeah.
Which people have been, at least tourists.
Yeah.
So it's the only place in Norway, at least, where you're required to bring a gun.
Yeah.
While you go out.
So,
Yeah, I have some contacts with Lima Alpha 6 KOA tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hamnavik. Does that sound right? Hamnavik, Norway. He's 300 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle on the island of Rolla.
I've spoken to him. He's pretty active on 20, I think.
He's a regular in 20 meters, and he's usually the only Norwegian station I can pick on 20.
Yeah, Rolla, that's north of Lofoten, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is insanely far north. From me, it takes me 25 hours or so to drive there.
Yeah.
I know because I was there 2 years ago, and I looked at GPS and it said 25 hours. I thought I was supposed to just pop up to the northernmost point in Norway, but that was another 24 hours each way to drive or something like that.
That is harsh.
And I just want to pull up when we talked about Svalbard here. I just got William says you do not need a visa to work in Svalbard, and you don't. It is Norwegian territory, but it is covered by the Svalbard Treaty from about 100 years ago, which says that all the signees of that treaty, all the citizens of countries that sign that treaty, have free access to the islands and the resources there. So there's actually a Russian, it's a heavy Russian presence there, which is just a short while away from Longyearbyen, which is the biggest city.
Yep. It's the same reason as...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's the same reason as Norway controls a lot of the Antarctica, same as US has and Australia. Like we have a lot of that is through Yankee land as well.
Yep.
So it's a cheap and easy way to get the 3 Yankee activation.
So let's see. I'm not going to pull up the map again, though. But yeah, so I'd really like to go up there at one point and do some ham radio and see what it's like. And you're so far north, though, so you're actually a lot closer to a lot of DX than you are down here.
Yeah. I was invited on a DXpedition there to an IOTA DXpedition during COVID. I wasn't able to go, and that was like up to Longyearbyen and a few hours by boat to some weird island on the west coast of there that nobody has been to before with a radio. So that looked really fun, but wasn't able to go, sadly. It wasn't expensive. I think it was like 20,000 Norwegian kroner or 2,000 euros or so for the trip, including the flights.
Yeah. The problem is the polar bears. That's the deal breaker for me. I just have to say that normally you don't have to be afraid of polar bears as long as you're in a group. there's only one person per group that needs to be afraid of polar bears, and that's the person that does not
That
run
gets
faster.
eaten. No.
Is either runs slower than everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a story about a few years back. I think they were Belgian tourists, and they went to sleep, all of them, in a tent, and one of them got awakened by being dragged out by his head out of the tent. He survived because they were managed to scare it away, but they also got heavily fined afterwards.
They got fined for being eaten by polar bears.
Yeah, they don't feed the bears.
And Nathan, we're getting into we're the European Ham Radio and Travel Show at the moment, because Nathan asked if tourists gets guns if they visit. I think you need a guide, and for all kind of safety purposes, you should have a guide, because this is not a friendly environment to get lost in.
Yeah, you can rent it, but you have to search for a permit in advance. If you don't have a Norwegian gun license, then you have to apply for a permit. But apparently, that's not a big problem to get up there.
Okay, now I'm more afraid of all the guns than I am of polar bears. So I'm not going up there. So,
yeah, but you can also like most people travel with a travel agency or group.
Yeah,
which of course aren't interested in doing SOTA or POTA, but still.
Joe Brett comments that ants is the most he has to worry about during POTA. And just to clarify, Joe Brett, this is not continental Norway. This is the Svalbard archipelago, which is way north of Norway. I don't know when you joined us, so there are no, contrary to popular belief, there are no polar bears in the streets of Norway.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to say that either.
That's
what keeps the tourists away.
I would be more concerned, or I am more concerned about the ticks and some of the other insects. And that's been a big issue. Like, I'm very surprised, Bob, that you didn't get attacked by a lot of deer flies, because when I hiked the same area like 2 days ago, there were tens of them landing on me.
I was actually expecting that, because every time I've gone up to the summit in the last few weeks, maybe a month, it's just been hell with all sorts of flying shit and the ticks. But the one tick on the entire trip, and I think I saw maybe 2 wasps that day. So a very, very nice trip. That was the reason I was going up into the high part of Norway, because you can walk in the mountains. I figured there's at least there's no ticks, and
there are no ticks north of the Arctic Circle. At least there were when I grew up.
I was not driving north of the Arctic Circle today. I was just driving into basically the part of Norway that's as far away from the coast as you can get. Was my aim. So,
but did you find the military bunker up there?
Yes.
Yeah, that surprised the hell out of me.
It had a padlock on it that I'm pretty sure costs at least €2. So I was debating whether or not I should take a look inside, and I decided not to.
Because you go up to the summit and you're standing on a pile of rubble that looks so natural, and then suddenly there's a hatch in the middle of it.
You know, when I got up there, I saw that pile of rubble. I was thinking maybe this has to be a burial mound or something, because this is not. It shouldn't be here. And you get around the corner, and there's this door. Like if you can remember the TV show Lost.
Yeah.
There's these bizarre things just showing up where they don't belong, and this was that kind of door. It's amazing.
Yeah, but it used to be a
Dharma Initiative. That's their headquarters.
But that is almost like the POTA we talked about doing this summer, though, where we found out that that exact POTA is also a Navy base.
Yeah, that one. But this doesn't have people stationed at it. That I know of, at least. But it used to be a spotting location during World War II, like plane and ocean spotting, because the forest up there is quite fresh, and you have a very nice view over to Denmark from that summit.
Wow!
Or towards Denmark. So it's very close to the coast.
when I saw it, I was thinking, why didn't it put this thing on the highest spot? Why did it put it just a few meters below? But I thought about it, and I think maybe don't put a spot like a thing like that in the most obvious place. Maybe put it just a little bit to the side to maximize the chance of it surviving bombings or being discovered. I don't know, but that was my conclusion when thinking about why they didn't put it all the way up on the summit. Did you take a picture of it? Because I wasn't sure we were allowed.
No, I didn't.
No.
So this is like the summit we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is from the other side. So you went up here.
Yeah.
And this is steep. It's 3 kilometers to walk or something, but it's 200 elevation meters.
The 200 elevation meters there in just the last 1.5 kilometers, mostly.
Yes. Yeah. It's insanely steep. So it's a nice place to hike. One of many summits near there that's nice to hike. Yep.
So, and just so we don't forget, though, we have another piece of news for you guys as well. Actually, two pieces of news because I see time is running, and we tend to go off on
tangents,
on different tangents,
on summits and wherever.
And polar bears and Svalbard and everything. So we're thinking about separating TEHRS from this channel and making it its own channel. And if everything goes well, we'll have the channel up and running by next week's show. It's kind of hard to say definitely because I need to do a little bit of testing in between work and everything. But hopefully we'll separate TEHRS as a separate channel because this show has grown faster than any of us thought. So kind of to be fair to all of the co-hosts here, this is our concept. This is not my concept. So we're splitting it off to a separate channel.
We're going to tear it off.
Yeah.
Hey.
Nice one.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
So hopefully by next week we'll announce it on social media everywhere once we have it up and running.
And on hamshow.eu, of course.
Yeah, yep. And on hamshow.eu. So just make sure that next week you might have to go somewhere else to watch the show, and do subscribe to that new channel. And again, if you're not subscribed to any of these people, make sure you do that as well.
Yeah, or that guy. Yeah, that guy.
Pointing on stream is actually really hard.
Yeah.
We had an American television show called The Brady Bunch. I don't know if you guys
ever
got. Yes, same thing. Everybody's pointing to each other and looking down in the boxes.
So this is actually just Brady Bunch for the 21st century.
That's right. We're cool.
And speaking about that, I told you guys before we started the show, but I was taking the train home from Oslo this morning after being at that banquet, and the guy in front of me was watching YouTube on his phone, and he was actually watching TEHRS on his phone.
You must.
Should we be worried?
I did not tell him though, but it was kind of funny.
That's cool. Okay, so I guess he was another ham. If he was probably going up to the ham radio convention, you guys you probably realistically may have been on a train with other ham radio operators. Kind of cool.
Yeah, I was probably the one that had the furthest amount of travel though, because since I don't live in Oslo. So, but yeah, that was a little bit fun. So if you're here watching, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
The guy that was watching TEHRS on the train from Oslo to Halden this afternoon.
There might be several. How is he going to know he's the one that you saw?
Yeah, I don't think he spotted me because everyone else was. I've noticed people are kind of keen to tell me that they've seen me on YouTube.
Yeah, it's interesting when you meet people in real life. It's the same happened to me when I was on that emergency communication thing on Monday. A lot of people had seen the videos I make, which is nice, of course. At least these people were friendly about it.
Yeah, most people are. Most people are though. I don't think we're not in that segment of YouTube where we'll get the scary fans. I think
No, I don't think
not
so.
not a lot of them anyway.
No.
William asked if it was the Flum Railway. No, it was not. I'm on the other side of Norway. Nothing as exciting. Just a regular train running for 2 hours through a flat landscape.
Is it
Come
really
on,
2
trains
hours
in Norway
from here?
are
No,
really exciting.
It is not really 2 hours anymore. It's about an hour and 30 minutes after that tunnel finally opened, but the trains still shake through it. So but we're not going to go into detail of Norwegian railway infrastructure. That could be a topic of a whole new channel.
There are several channels about that already.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Yeah.
So just to sum it up, though, so we get the topics out of the way. Ham Show EU is live. We're probably going to do a podcast at some point if I can figure out how to do a podcast. And TEHRS is coming as a new channel. That's kind of the three things, isn't it?
Perfect.
I got a feeling I forgot something, but I think that's it.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments what you think about doing TEHRS as a separate channel, or let us know if you want a podcast. I think that'd be great for people having long commutes, though, being able to listen to TEHRS.
Yeah, but you can do that. Like if you have YouTube Premium, you can listen to it in the background.
You could if you have a YouTube Premium. I don't have.
Yeah, you can't make the damn thing stop playing in the background. So
I've noticed that people that have I don't get as much ad revenue for people that have YouTube Premium. So I like to be kind and nice to other YouTubers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get something out of them though. I know when I get my breakdown, you see, the $1 to $2
secret product placement.
Hey, don't show beer on the channel.
Well,
it's alcohol free. It's perfectly fine.
Oh, okay, as long as it's alcohol free.
So can we not show beer in the EU or something like?
And nor you cannot advertise for alcohol, and you cannot do product placement for alcohol in Norway. There are some exceptions to it. Let's say if it's a cooking show or something like that, but I don't think we qualify as that. So
so if you get a strike now, you know which 10 seconds to cut out more than
yeah.
It's not we that get the strike. It's actually the company. So if somebody takes an Instagram post of a beer they like and they tag the company, then the company gets the strike.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, it's stupid.
But, I intensely dislike Ringnes beer. So if I start showing off Ringnes beers on every show, then that's going to hurt them.
They can, if you just say that you sponsor them, but they will probably go after you.
Actually, there was something in the news this summer, though. A lot of small new microbreweries that are getting really hurt by people tagging them on Instagram and showing off that they like their beers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that is by no means the intentions of the law, I think.
No,
seems like
it's not.
Fight that though, or appeal or something. Like, look, you're getting penalized for something you didn't even do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're supposed to remove the tags, like to refuse people to tag them and stuff like that, which they don't do. So
and actually, I work at a place serving alcohol. So for me, I should, per definition, know better.
Yeah.
Since I have that certification as well, I'm allowed to serve alcohol.
It's very different. Like when my father was young, they gave out cigarette packs, like demo packs, in their schools. And that was legal.
Yeah.
So that has changed slightly.
Yeah, helps you with your next test, right? To calm down. Times have changed.
The advertising for tobacco has been outlawed. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember when that happened.
Yeah,
He's-
but
he's-
I remember coming to the US in the 90s and seeing tobacco ads, and that was really weird
yeah.
Yeah.
with Joe Camel and the Marlboro Man and everything.
Yeah.
And Nathan says we should get Carl M0 SZT on. Then it'll basically be a cooking show, and he's completely right about that.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
got
if,
a
if
comment.
you've seen that channel.
I got a comment on one of my cooking videos on my channel. I do them every now and then, and one of them thought I was sponsored by somebody for making a cooking channel.
Wow.
You forgot to put the tape over the name of the product that you were preparing, probably.
Yeah, probably. Like it's called carrot.
100% organic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
What
we are
does that mean?
planning on-
100% organic, really? Because a lot of things are 100% organic.
oh,
like heroin.
That was a joke.
or-
Carrot is always
No.
organic, right?
heroin is
No.
probably not organic, but I heard a couple of teenage girls on the train yesterday talking about how great organic water was.
Ah.
Yeah. For you, Lee, we are planning on just having one channel. So we're setting up one, and it will stop broadcasting here. So
Yeah,
and we're not. So basically, we're just a new place to follow.
yeah.
So if you want to
Yeah.
follow or join us, it's very nice to do that.
Yeah.
But it's
So
well,
so the live stream will be on the TEHRS channel, and then my channel will be my content, and all the other guys' channels will be their content, and that's the way we'll do it. Kjetil Solan for Big Carrot.
yeah. I bought the extra straight ones. But you do know that there are some regulations that say which carrots can be sold or not, because if they're too bendy, then they're not compliant.
Yeah, that's
and
EU
they have
law again, being
Yeah.
stupid,
Yeah.
right?
That's European laws.
And William says in instant water, just add water, and I can actually do one better because I had a salesman trying to sell me dry wet wipes at some point. You just had to add the water.
When I started the university, there was actually a cooking course where one of the first items was how to cook rice, and that was because a lot of people didn't know how to do that.
Nice. We are turning slowly into a cooking show now. So I will share a story that my father shared with me from when he was in the army. When he was carrying food into the kitchen, it said on the bag of potatoes, may also be served to humans.
Nice.
Nathan talks about that organic water is probably vegan, and actually most potato chips are also vegan, so I guess that's healthy for you since it's vegan.
Heroin too.
And the chips are like in animal fat. I would take out the vegan there. So my favorite chips are marked with vegan.
Yeah,
so
but you can actually buy protein vegan water here in Norway from a non-joke shop. But the interesting part is when I bought chlorine last time, like chlorine or bleach, as you call it over in the States, then that vegan protein water, but that's with flavor, of course. The bleach I have is vegan.
That's a relief.
but the best thing I read about that is vegan leather.
Leather. Oh yeah.
We call that pleather, plastic leather, pleather.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is a point in it, of course, that they don't want any kind of animals in whatever they use for any kind of product. So of course, if they want that, then that's good that it's there. But I asked why this specific one was vegan in the store, and the lady just looked weirdly at me.
Strange that.
Because
should we try to bring this back to ham radio?
What, another 15 minutes ham radio? You can't do that to us.
You-
No. Okay, let's try.
I think you can try, but I wouldn't hold my breath. But let's give it a go.
But I can start with the never-ending saga of the Vero N7500.
Please do.
I managed actually to have it show the battery voltage of 13.8 volts at some point. So I managed to start the first percent of the firmware update, and then of course the voltage reading dropped and it stopped there. But I'm 1% further ahead than I was earlier, and I really need to be because I'm just gonna move a couple of things out of my desk here and get the other camera placed here. Let's see. That was not the right camera. This is the right camera. Because this little beauty decided to die on me.
Oh no.
Why?
I don't know. It just won't
What?
power up anymore.
What is that? The
D700. Mm-hmm.
710 or 700?
700.
Is it
Okay?
simply just a fuse issue in the back?
I don't know. I don't think so because I use the same power cable on that radio as on the Vero, so I don't think it's a fuse. But the radio has been showing signs of dementia lately, so I think it's.
So have I.
I think it's just that time for it. But it's a pity because I love that radio.
It's an old one, right? Like
Yeah,
90s?
it's probably about 20 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but it is a nice radio. I have the same, but in an American version. So
Yeah.
whenever I use that on repeaters, it's only wide. You cannot do VHF narrow. You only can do VHF wide. So I get yelled at whenever I use it on repeaters. But it's such a nice radio.
It is. It's got APRS. It's got everything, and it's got a built-in TNC.
Nice. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
But that
always a
doesn't-
bit scared about hardware from the 80s because they put this newfangled SMD electrolytic capacitors in at that time, and they all tend to leak so sooner or later. So and when the acid leaks out and you have SMD on the PCB, it chews through the PCB, and even worse if it leaks through a wire and it's a multi-layer PCB. That's really, really bad. So
Yeah, this is not from the 80s though. It's designed in the 90s.
Anyway, everybody who has a beloved Kenwood radio should open it up and have a good look and maybe a good sniff around. If it smells a bit like vinegar, then it's high time to get all those capacitors replaced.
Yeah. This is going for recycling at some point. So I guess the Vero
Nathan says you should send it to me, and I'll have a look. We can do that.
But the Vero is actually a pretty decent radio as a radio. It's just that the APRS functionality is less than ideal on it. So if I turn off the APRS, which was kind of one of the selling points for getting this radio.
But is that fixed in a later firmware?
It is fixed in a later firmware. So
the question is how to get that firmware in.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing from communication with the manufacturer in China, something is lost in translation at some point, both ways, I think.
But I have to. Do you know? Is it possible to actually flash that with an SPI or some programmer? Because one of my other hobbies is microelectronics, and I think I have programmers for just about every microcontroller there is.
I would think so, and there actually is a serial port on it through the mic input. One of the pins is the serial port for it, so it should be able, as long as the guys in China says that it's possible to do and send me some kind of Chinese software,
right?
So I'm guessing it's fixable. And what I'm planning to do though is putting that radio in my car and taking the Retivis RA25 that's in my car and taking that inside. It's only a 20-watt radio, but I don't really need any more than 20 watts in the shack, and that has a display, so I don't need a old Android phone permanently mounted on my desk to be able to use it.
Yeah, then you will need an old Android phone permanently mounted in the car instead.
I can use the iPhone in the car. I don't really. I don't need more than 16 channels on the radio because with an iPhone you only get 16 channels.
Oh,
but,
of course.
With an Android phone you get unlimited banks of 16 channels.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
So what I'm guessing is that those memory banks are actually the first 16 ones are in the radio, and the rest are on the phone, and it probably just reprograms the radio when you switch memory banks.
Yeah.
It's funny talking about VHF radios or whatever. So I'm a Jeep owner now, so I'm looking at a permanent installation in the Jeep, and I've been looking at. I don't want to spend a lot of money. Just basically, I'm not worried too much about 70 centimeters. But I just want a good 2-meter radio.
Yeah,
Like I'm thinking like the TYT or something. Inexpensive 2-meter thing that I'll just leave in the truck. So
yeah. What's your budget there, Walt?
$150 US, something, not a lot.
Okay, I got a recommendation for you, and just as a disclaimer, this is a radio which Retief sent to me, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good radio. It's actually a really good radio.
Is that the one you had in your car for the longest time?
It's one I have in my car. I'm just gonna see if I can find it here. It doesn't show up on the Retief's website right now. I think either that or I'm just too hungover to really look.
Should be both.
Let's see, but I can always search for it.
Isn't that a radio that we tested? I sent you a video of the reception at my end.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly that radio. I got it here. I'll share the screen. Because if that's your budget, otherwise get a Yaesu 400 or something. But if you just want something cheap that just works,
cheap that I can just leave in the car. If the car got broken into and stolen, and the car radio got stolen, I wouldn't stress it too much. Yeah, that's about $139.
Yeah,
we tested another radio as well. That's a really small one that I think you gave away to Fresh Ham.
Yeah, that was the RT98, I think.
That was also an excellent radio.
Except that, yeah, you can program that with Chirp.
Okay.
Nice.
At least I think I programmed that one with Chirp actually. The RT98 I think you're talking about there, Bob. Let me see here. The RT98 is by all definitions for what you pay for it, halfway decent radio.
It's there on the left.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah.
But it's not really sensitive on receive. It desensitizes really easily. And it's by definition it's a 10-watt radio, but it's not.
It works really well. Just listening to you on that radio, that was pretty amazing for the price. So I would not if I wanted just the 2-meter radio for the car, I would not hesitate to get that radio, especially for that price.
Yeah, for $58 US, it's a great deal. And it's
here, baby.
it is really small. It fits in the palm of your hand. It does not have VFO though. It only has memories, so you got to program in all the repeaters for it.
That's what I would do anyway. What I would do I would program in the repeaters here in southeastern Virginia, and then the repeaters on northeastern North Carolina. Outer Banks, places I would be driving to.
Yep.
And maybe the 2-meter call frequency. That'd be about it. Just to use locally.
Yeah. And this is also Chirp programmable if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good deal.
And I see that Martin comments in the chat here, the TYT TH8600.
Yeah, I was looking at that, Martin. That's one of the ones I was kind of had my eye on. So
let's see how that looks.
I'm going to put two permanent installs.
Yeah, that's that radio. Yeah, that is probably a halfway decent radio as well for what you pay for it. It's a tad bit more expensive than the RT98 though.
But do you have anyone using the 1.25 meter band or whatever you call it over there, like the third? Because some of these do that as well.
I'm just going to use 2 meters. That's really all I'm going to do. I got a couple repeaters here that I get on locally. When I'm driving, I got about an hour drive home every afternoon. I can get on the local repeaters and chat, see what's happening or whatever. The other radio I've already got. I don't know if you can see it back here. There. That is a United Bearcat
Let's see if we can get
SB. They'll tell you what that is. I'm gonna put 11 meter radio in there as well. So if you can see it right there, it's my that's my 11 meter rig. It's just a sideband 40 channel sideband citizens band radio. So there you go. People can hit me in the comments now and all that good stuff. Well,
If you
okay, what happened now? I am not. I need to work on my. There we go.
your hangover.
Yeah, I probably need some sleep.
I have to tell Walt, if you go for the 10 meter or 11 meters rig, there's an antenna called the Stereo Performer 5000.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard of it. That thing, when you get it, it's made for 11 meters. That tunes nicely on 10 meters and on 12 meters as well. So look into that antenna. There's going to be a link in the show notes when I type them up this week.
All right. Cool.
I have that antenna. It's really nice. It works really well for something you just mount on a car. Yep.
Yeah. I just want it, like I said, I like to have 11 meters in my mobile because, on the interstates and the highways here in the United States, every truck's got a CB radio in it. And when something's going on in traffic or whatever, you just cut it on here locally, channel 19, and you can figure out what's going on ahead of you when you're locked up in traffic or whatever. And that'd be more or less why I have it. So,
speaking about your Jeep though, you should consider a GMRS radio, shouldn't you?
Yeah, why?
It kind of goes with the vehicle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes with that. But I will say this: my Jeep is it's nice. It's the 4-door Sport, but my Jeep is not a Rubicon.
And on that note, I think we need to start talking about our common ham radio weeks though, because we're at that time point now. Tobias, any plans for next week?
Yeah, designing that plastic case for the microphone adapter. And then I finally continued winding my NFET half-wave transformers with these chunky cores that Colin had been using. So they were sitting on my desk forever, but now the arm is strong enough that I can, thread through thick wire through ferrite cores again. So
that is good.
Yeah, maybe I can make a video when I have it finished, wire it up back to back and see if I can reproduce Colin's result or something.
Not too bad. I guess that'll take the better part of the week.
Yes. Let's see how it goes. I'm still struggling a bit to, adjust. How should I say, to get the day job done and the physiotherapy done and the ham radio done, right?
Yeah.
So there's another job now on parallel with everything else, and that is getting that arm back into shape.
But you should talk to Bob because he's a master of juggling all kind of things like work, family, doing 7 soda summits in a week and all those kind of things. So
I'm not entirely convinced that neither family nor work would agree with you there, but I managed to juggle the ham radio at least. So,
maybe Bob has a very good sense of priorities. Or
that's it. That what he said. Yeah.
Yeah. And now you just have to cut this into short and show your wife every time she complains.
She doesn't complain actually. So yeah, I'm lucky.
So and on that note, any ham plans for next week, Bob?
I have. Can I share a window?
Yeah, you can press the
present and a share screen or
share. You just choose share screen and then you choose what to share.
Share screen, and I select and we say allow. Can you see that? Yeah. That's the weather forecast for my ham radio plans. It's got it all. Wet. It's got an amazing amount of rain. It's got lightning, and it's got up to 22 meters per second wind. So my plans just got cancelled.
Yeah, get that Marconi spectrum analyzer out. Maybe that's the thing to do.
Yeah, but the thing with that, I need to install the rack where that's going to live, and that's in the garage, and there's things on top of it. Let's just say.
Okay.
So you have that kind of garage as well?
I had that kind of a garage.
Yeah, a garage where you're not able to fit a car because you have so much else in it.
I'm not able to put a foot on the floor. Because there's so much stuff in it.
I have that kind of garage as well.
Yeah. So basically, my week is going to be the 10 meter net and the 2 meter sideband net, and we'll see if I can manage something else. But this went to shit really quickly. My plans for Monday, at least.
Yeah. Kjetil, any plans?
Yeah. There's a bit weather tomorrow. Actually, not as bad as what Bob is getting. But I have done POTA activation in way worse weather than that. So it's fully possible if you just bolt down your
Dedicated
equipment.
enough.
Yeah.
I may go for a Parks activation. This was
Yeah.
I was planning a Summits activation, and that's just not happening.
No, SOTA beams must break in that amount of wind. So it's not
that amount of lightning.
Oh, lightning is, that's the issue, but rare,
Yeah.
just like don't get hit by it. But yeah, it's better to
Good
stay
advice.
safe. But still, for me, I'm going to the first Norwegian summits on the air meetup next weekend. That's in middle part of Norway. It's a heck of a long drive to go there. But we're going to do a lot of activations together up there, and let's see if I like to share as well, if I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
So there it goes, I think.
That's it.
Yep. So I'm going up somewhere around here in the middle of Norway. I live down here, and the other guys live around this part of Norway, to not like show you off too much. But going up here, beautiful, like heavy scenery. This is like the basic, like the middle of Norway, the highest mountains, the biggest ones. So that's going to be fun. We're going to be 10 people, I think, activating up there. A few summits, at least 4 or 5 summits at the same time, if the weather is nice. And also doing a new special event call sign for summits on the air. So that's going to be fun.
Cool. So how is that mountain spelled? Now you have to tell us. Bol, hectare, whatever.
Bølhøgda.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I have the number, and I'm going to put it in the show notes, Kjetil?
Yeah, it's Oscar Lima 195. So it's
Oscar Lima 195. Yeah.
It's not too far away.
If Bob's been doing his job right now, he's got all the show notes down already.
He doesn't. I'm going to speed watch the entire show at 2x. That's what I did with the last ones to get my bearings.
Yeah. But it's not too far. There are a few unactivated summits near there. There's a big POTA area close to it. So there will be some other weird types of activations as well. So next Saturday is and Sunday morning are good times if you want to have some bit more rare Norwegian SOTAs and high point ones.
Yeah, I'll look into that. I got a work weekend, so I probably won't touch the radio there. Since I've moved around at some point here, I can do my ham radio week now next week, which is probably going to be starting another YouTube channel. And hopefully doing a little bit more of I got a plan of a kilo at Lima Alpha 2542, which is the coastal trail here. And my plan is actually to do the kilo without activating the same spot along the trail 2 times.
How many points do you have left for that kilo?
A lot.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna. I think the thing is though, I've activated there before. I just got to find all the logs and all the logs where I know I've activated where it intersects with other parks.
Can you actually upload logs from before?
Yep. You can do that. You're allowed to do that.
The POTA is weird that way for flora fauna, you're not allowed to do it before it was activated. Same with SOTA, or before it was added to the system. So
I would probably have made my kilo even earlier then, because I've operated quite a bit from Slottsfjället before. It was,
yeah. So you can add all of those old logs as well.
Yeah,
that's why I
so
managed.
I'm not going to do it, but yeah, that's nice to know.
Yeah,
that's
think
how I made my quota.
I think when I add up all the old logs and something, I'm at about 300 QSOs at that park right now. So,
is this another competition here going on here? You see who gets
second kilo?
Second kilo.
Second kilo. We at least we can't compete for the second repeat offender award because I got that the other day.
So
we'll look into that and see if we can make it a friendly competition as we did it last time.
Yeah.
That made for me being really sick of doing POTA for a while, but I still did it in order to try to get up there. Yeah. Besides that, a lot of work. Perhaps I'm going to have a couple of days midweek off. I got one video dropping on Tuesday on the first Norwegian twofer on video. It's not the first Norwegian twofer, but it's the first one that I filmed. Since the first I did was at a hotel parking lot, and that was not really, it was not beautiful scenery around where I where I did it. But so I'm gonna do that, and I'm probably gonna do a video on all of my antennas. And I'm still looking for finding a cheap PMR radio in order to do the CTCSS PMR tone video.
I have a PMR radio with tones. If you
really do, but you do. I mean, you don't live exactly in my neighborhood.
I have lots of them, so I can send you if you want.
Yeah, that'd actually, if anyway you guys could do that, and I can just make a video and send it back. So
yeah.
And I guess that's it for my week. Walt, any plans?
The weather is supposed to get really nice here this week. It has been so miserably hot the last 2-3 weeks here, and the temperature is coming down. It's going to cool off a little bit, and hopefully just run across the street here in the harbor and play with some antennas and have some fun. I'm sure I will. I just don't know what I'm going to do yet. I've got about 10 different ideas going on in my mind here. I'm going to play with something. We'll cut some wire, and have some fun. I definitely want to do that this week because my radio has been kind of slow the last few weeks.
I'll tell you what I want to see, Walt. I want to see the continuation of that HOA lady when you put up the Delta loop on that spot.
All right.
I was actually thinking the same thing. And just as a note. Yeah, that sound great though, Walt. Just to get, but does that Delta loop work as a permanent antenna install?
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
I don't
know what you would.
Would that work on your roof instead of that Sigma Eurocom antenna that you're using?
In fact, Chameleon makes a mast with the screw-in part for the Delta. You can screw the Delta loop in and raise it up, and I don't see why you couldn't leave it permanent, but. And from what I hear, everyone's been saying it performs even better up in the air than down on the ground, which makes sense. So, it's I'm going to play around with it some more. We'll see it some more what it can do.
That's excellent. And just a quick notice for me before we say 7.3s, and that is I'm entering that seasonal work where it's going to be a lot busier than the other times of year. So my production rate on my videos is probably going to go down a little bit. Yeah, which has kind of been the plan for a while. But it turns out that the YouTube algorithm kind of punishes you if you raise the productivity rate and then you go down. You got to do that really slowly to not get punished by the YouTube algorithm.
Right.
So you can't go straight from 3 videos in a live stream per week to just 1 video per week, because then YouTube stops promoting your videos.
Yep.
So that's it. I guess that's it. Hopefully we'll be on a new channel next week. If not, will be here. And I guess that's it. On that note, 7-3.
33, everybody.
So
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next week. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.